Hello, everybody. Welcome to Slightly Early Monday Night Live. Antoine's in the chat. Welcome to the stream. I'm good, thank you. Coming off the weekend, getting into fall wintry business. Things are good. How are you? Fill us in on your part of the world. What is happening? All right. Alrighty. So we are back in some tarot today. This will look familiar. I didn't, you're doing good. That's excellent. I'm doing pretty good. I am coming off another market weekend and it was successful and kind of getting into fall wintry grooves, which is nice. Just trying to take it all in. It's all good. It's good. Well, I have you. What do you know about this? So you're in Paris, yes, Antoine? I asked last week, but I think I might have missed you. What do you know about this whole Louvre heist thing? Everybody's really grabbing onto that right now because it's crazy news over here. That isn't extremely stressful compared to what our other news is. That's nutsoid. I've been following it really closely because it sounds like a movie to me. What do we know? Give us the tea while I figure out where I stopped here. About the Louvre heist. I know that they made in the news. They said they made an arrest recently, but all these jewels went missing in 7 minutes. It's like Ocean's 11 or something. Craziness. All right. So let me think about where we ended up last time. So I think what I ended up doing, because I know I was, yes. So last time I was back and forth about how I wanted to handle things with the circus here. So what I think I ended up deciding to do was I did merge everything. So it is pixelated, which I don't love, but I think at the small scale it's going to be okay. And I kept a version that has the vector in it still, so that I can pull some of those lines in if I want to later. I think once we put in all this detail, I think we're going to be okay. But I have it there just in case we need it. Antoine says, yeah, that's crazy. On a Sunday. Yeah, from the energy that we're getting over here is that everybody was out in a cafe kind of almost watching it happen. There's all kinds of jokes and memes and parodies and stuff about it, but insanity, all this magical stuff, and now it's gonna be all locked down. I heard it's back open again now, the Louvre, though, which is great, because it would suck to have gone over, if I say I was to go over on a trip and then be that's the week it's closed. Oh, that would have been bad. Yikes. Craziness. Okay, so I merged it all, and then I masked out the stuff around the edge so it's sitting nicely in the circle. Then I made the circle black because they were just gray for whatever reason. Get rid of that. Come on, delete that layer. Okay, is this the circles? It is. Okay, so I'm going to erase some of the circle here because I want this to kind of overlap. Doesn't look great right now because there's a lot of pixelation against the vectors, but again, at the scale that we're working at, I think we're going to be okay. We can always throw some of this back in too because I have all this vector line art. I just want to make sure that we're in clear here. And this thumb's going to be in front. What's up, RB? Welcome to the stream. We were talking a little bit about the crazy Louvre heist that happened because why wouldn't it? And it's just like something out of a movie. It's craziness. Oh, and I've forgotten how to erase things. The wheels are falling off. What is happening? How come this is gray? Why was this not black? What is happening? What is happening? Okay, hang on. They've upgraded my Fresco here. Hang on. Something's different. What the F? Nope. Nope. This is all brand new since I opened it last time. Don't love this. No. Why would we do this? I liked having the two. What are we doing? Ugh. No, not. Why did we do this? Where's my palettes? It's just off black. That is unfortunate. See how it's just not quite fully black? Oh, Erin. Good Lord. Okay, so this week is Adobe Max week. So inevitably all the software looks different. So generally what will happen, or my experience anyway, Adobe Max is kind of the one, is like Adobe's opportunity to promote all the new things they're working on, all the new tools that have come out for different softwares. It's kind of like their Uber launch for all their new things. And I forget every year that means, oh, my software is going to update that week. Do you want down? Why would we believe it? Oh, Jesus. Oh, you almost fell over. Sorry. Good job, buddy. So, like, my brush palette looks all different. I'm going to find a way to make that not a thing. No, I don't want that. Because I liked having the two vector pixel brushes because I can go back and forth between the two. Okay. This will teach me to actually open my software right before we get started so that this doesn't so I'm not surprised like everybody else. Although we all learn together this way. So what's new, RB? Fill us in. What is happening? Is this a vector brush? Oof. See, I can't be like sure that I have a vector brush right now. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. Okay. That can't be correct. Again, there's no way. Something's feeling weird here. Maybe it's not. Did you finish your ace that you were drawing, RB? That you shared with us last week? Nope. Good job, my Joe. People are dumb. People are throwing garbage down the garbage chute, which is closed today. We have our parking garage that's closed and everybody's parking in it. Humans, I tell ya. We are a hopeless bunch lately, I tell ya. I think I had the same vibe last week where these brushes don't feel right. But I'm also drawing a lot bigger than I normally am. Like, these hands are taking up a lot more space on the card and the artboard in comparison to like the bonfire or the figures with the smaller details. So I think that's what's throwing off my groove here. So we'll see how this goes. So it is Max Week. So anybody who is interested in participating, you could, if you're in LA, you can participate in person. I'm sure you could get some tickets still. They're pretty expensive. But everything is also, well, not everything, but there are virtual elements as well. So for me, tomorrow afternoon, the main keynote kickoff is tomorrow, where they kind of like announce what they're going to cover over the rest of Max, and who the guest speakers are, and some of the new tools that have come out, and all that kind of fun stuff. And then throughout the week, there's labs and there's different videos and sessions where they cover all those kinds of tools and how artists are using them, or people are using them in industry, etc. A lot of the list looks like it's, not shockingly, fairly AI focused. But there's a lot of stuff for like different software. Like there's going to be new tools coming out in Fresco and new tools coming out in, usually Photoshop has a couple new ones, all that kind of fun jazz. And all that. And a whole next month, we're going to get to see a lot of Max keynotes on Behance. Right. So there's going to be lots coming out as people are trying out these new tools and all these different features and things. There's going to be a lot going on. It's not a you. Why are you being this way? Okay. So yeah, so if you haven't opened your Adobe software lately, give it an open, because I completely forgot that they do this. Because they want everybody to kind of have the tools on hand to work with them and test them while they're doing all these kinds of things. And so like when they're displaying this kind of stuff and all that in at the keynote, they want people to be able to actually use them and try them out and everything. Yeah, RB says, when they introduce a new tool, I like to discover it myself. Yeah, I think that there's some elements of that too. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that tool did that. But then also, like, for me, with something like Illustrator or whatever else, I know how to use it to do what I want to do. And every now and again, like, I might push it. But because I've been using Illustrator for so long, I just, like, do what I know how to do in it. So very rarely am I going to push myself to be like, oh, can Illustrator do this? Because, like, I just know how I would use it. When I was learning Fresco by myself, I was doing a lot of that, being like, can Fresco do this? Can Fresco do that? Because I was learning it by myself, not in a school setting or an education setting like I was learning for the other software. So if they can tell me a cool tool, like there's been a couple like shortcuts and things that I wouldn't have found by myself, because I wouldn't really know to look for something because I didn't know to seek it out. So that's like kind of a me thing too. Like I probably should be exploring these kinds of things. So that's why I like with Max that they'll show me a couple cool tools to kind of prompt me to do some of those checks. But yeah, I guess it depends on what it is. To be honest, I've been using Illustrator for 30 years, not to show off or anything like that, but no tool is in it is a mystery for me. Yeah, for sure. Like, and if you're using like the whole software and it, like you're expanding it and living in it, like you'll definitely have a pretty solid knowledge of it. But like, for example, in the case of say Fresco, I know this software pretty well. I know what it can and can't do. I know where to push and where not to. But then there's still like elements of it that I don't know, kind of like the animation tools and stuff. I just haven't pushed into those just yet. So that's an example of parts that like I would need a little guidance on and some support. But yeah, it depends on where you're at, I guess, also in your creative journey to learn things. Yes, I know Fresco's buggy on Windows, definitely. I know Dan has quite a hard time with it when he's using it on his Surface. The Microsoft or Android tablets do not handle it very well. Like, I've only crashed Fresco in my 3 or 4 years of using it, maybe 2 or 3 times. And that's because I was pushing it really hard with the number of layers and detail I was putting in it. It would have crashed on my Mac too. Yeah, it's pretty buggy on the Windows platform, and I know they're very aware of it. Animation in Fresco, yes, is a tool. Like, I think it's not really like it's a pretty decent tool. I've seen it used, and it's pretty cool. Just like I would use it personally for just like adding some motion to these kinds of graphics. If I was doing full animation stuff, I would use the other software that Adobe has available. Just because that's what the animators at work use. And they would be able to teach me. No, Mojo, leave them at be, please. Let them do their thing. They're going to their house. It has nothing to do with you. No, thank you. Hey, Moj, look at me, bud. Sorry, guys. Neighbors existing in the hallway. How dare they? All right. So yeah. So if it's of interest to you, you can watch a lot of the virtual stuff online. You can just Google Adobe Max, and a lot of that content is going to be available for free. And if it's like other years, it'll be free for up to a year. Like, well, up until next year's Max. So if you need to go back to it, etc. Yes, register online. So RB is registered online. So if you go in and register, you can get into, like, you can see the sessions and you can kind of book them in as you want. I don't think that they run out of virtual seats. But you can sign up for them and have them on your schedule, and then or favorite them. Like, I have a few favorited ones that I'm going to go back to after. So you can see all the sessions that are happening, which is kind of a lot of fun. Yeah, so the only thing is 9 hours difference. So they do have a max, like the main event, I think, is the one that's being held in LA, but there is an Asian element. So there are, like, they'll play the keynote and things as well, in a different time zone. So some of the sessions I've booked, they'll be like 3 in the morning. I'm not going to watch it at 3 in the morning. It's usually also in a different language. But almost everything that's online, if you don't mind waiting, everything that is virtual online, you can rewatch it afterwards. So you can go back and check it out, because like this week for me personally is pretty busy. So anything I might miss, I can just kind of sit and catch up on the weekend. So a lot of it's available for quite a while afterwards, which is great. Okay, what am I doing here? Making a mess. Okay. So if I have, I don't know that I need the paper cutouts for the whole thing around the circus, but I do want a, excuse you. Ah, nuts. There we go. See, I'm kind of cranky about this change. I don't really like it. Because I balance between the vector and the pixel brushes so often. I don't love that they've mashed those two together. Forced me to pay attention, I guess. Okay, so yeah, like I said, I don't think I'm going to do the full, all the gray and the white and the black here. But I am going to do at least a thicker line on the outside, I think. Nuts. Oh, and I forgot how to draw over the weekend. How unfortunate for us all. Oh, I know, bud. Boop, boop, boop. So I met a few new people over the weekend at the markets who asked quite a bit about the live streams. So if you're new and you're lurking, don't hesitate to say hello. If you want to stay lurking, that's okay. Hi, welcome to the stream. We have a few people interested in what the heck we were doing here, which is always fun. Oops. And a lot of people really excited about the tarot deck as well, which is super fun. It's hard to tell people who are excited about a project that they have to wait like a year still for it. But a lot of people are excited about the content I did offer so far. I do have some prints and some bookmarks and blind tarot readings of what I have so far. So people were pretty stoked about that. So there's nothing. It's hard to tell people that it could be a long time. So that's why I'm posting every card as it's, not as it's ready. Hopefully I could work a little bit ahead. Just to get keep people on the track and get them excited about the whole deck. I got a few more plans in the works today to keep that going even after the deck is launched. So it's all good. Hoping daylight savings this time. Our clocks go back an hour. Thank goodness I could use the hour, but like maybe we'll go back like 10 hours and I can get lots more done in a day. Okay. I'm gonna save this. And the layering on these are getting a little bit more complicated, but that is okay, I think. Keeps my mind fresh. I don't know. I liked having the 3 brushes there because I use all 3 in some pieces sometimes. It'll just be a bit of an adjustment on my end. It's fine. Why not, man? Okay, a little bit bigger brush. I need even bigger. This doesn't take forever. Not that much bigger. That's craziness. So what kind of sessions are you looking for out of Max RB? Or Antoine, if you're going to be checking it out. I am going to be, there's a couple on Fresco, just some new tools and stuff. But a couple AI ones I want to look at for like workflows, etc. Are you attending Max virtually, Antoine? Is that of any interest to you? Or are you just gonna see a few people using new tools? I like it. I like it. I like to see how people are using the tools and things. Yeah. And their approach, RB says. So yeah, like if there's like a fresco session, I like to watch if to see how people are using it. Yeah, Adobe Max is this week, Antoine. I was just wondering if you were going to be participating virtually. Oh, I did a dumb thing. That's okay. Now, do I want it to be darker inside or darker on the outside? Yeah, I figured. Yeah, Antoine's more of a gamer as opposed to a designer, which is fair. I wasn't sure if the Adobe content was of interest, which is totally fine. But like RB was saying, like I like to see a fresco session because, especially with fresco, because I taught it to myself. I like to see how people are using it and how people are pushing its boundaries and using it. Even something like Illustrator that I've been in since the start of my Adobe life. It's interesting to me to like see how people use it. I do design, but not at your level. Everybody's at their own level. They love it. That's amazing. But that's okay. You can just hear, like, if there's anything really, really cool, we'll tell you about it. What the heck am I doing here? I designed for my music. That's cool. I was trying to think, would there be anything? Like, I guess if they were doing, like, videos or things like that, that would be something at max that you would maybe take advantage of if you were having like music and stuff for your like videos, sorry, for like your music and stuff. Sorry, I'm having a mental block here. Okay, we're gonna move on to something else. I just don't know if I want the sky in the circle to be darker or the one on the outside to be darker. So I'm gonna move on rather than turning layers off and on, making me all crazy. If no, because that won't be under the line. Okay, let's put in a multiply layer here. Down to a 150. And then do I want it to be gray? Yes. Sorry. My brain has all of a sudden shorted itself out. Sheesh. We had our team did like a illustration dessert bake-off today at work, which was super fun. But now my brain is shorting out because of sugar crash. Okay. The reason why like I moved on from that, like where do I want the darker shadow to be? First of all, it'd be really boring for you guys to watch me go this, then this, then this, maybe. I'm not sure. Not sure. It's boring for you guys to watch, but then also like with the styles that I have going on, it might take care of itself. Like these shadows might give me the contrast that I need. And then I don't have to choose. It'll just do it by itself. So I don't have to worry about it. And then doesn't matter because what I kind of want to do here now is this. What is this? What does this do? Oh yeah, I did see a thing about that. We'll play with that another time. The new tool that's been introduced for posing your art, which I could potentially see myself using. Oh, I'm going too far with this. Like if I want to move some of these around. Oh, come on, Aaron. Holy cow. Okay, let's try one more time here. First of all, that is on there. Okay, there's a little line I want to get rid of. Little dot. Okay. I'm less distracted now. Okay. Throw this just over top here. I'm not going to go into the inside of the circle because it's going to throw off my groove. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted. Okay, I need less of this. That's what I need. No, don't do that. This much less? There we go. That's what we're looking for. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, now do I want... Do I want... I just wonder if I want to put like a shadow on the inside here. Oh no. Excuse me. It's starting to get cold here. So all the heaters are on. So everything's really getting dry again. Oh no, that's not what I wanted. I want this. And I want to just subtract some of this selection because I want to keep the shadows I have in place there without interfering. Hair cold? No. Luckily, knock on wood, no. I've been healthy, but yes, cold weather, yes. It's not freezing yet, but we're down into the single digits Celsius over here right now, which is awesome. I love the cooler air, but all the heaters and stuff they make it really dry in places. 8 Celsius now here. Yeah, I think today, like at the highest, it got to be like 11 or so. I think it's down to like 2 or 3 today. Like right now, I mean. So great for sleeping. Just all the dry air with the heaters. Oops. Boop, 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 boop. I did scrape frost off my car today on the way out. Some of those, like, because I'm sleeping with my window open, you can hear people getting up and like scraping their windows on their cars. And you're like, 10 more minutes of sleep, please. Okay, so all right, what the heck are we gonna do here? So we have stained glass there. Let's see if we can't get my favorites, which is good. I do kind of like this, the way this interface looks. You can see the brushes a little better than you could before. Like there's like, you can see the detail that's in them. It'll just take some getting used to. On my part. 18 today. Holy. New. Multiply. Ugh, don't like that. It's a little too orangey for me. Don't mind it for our hand up here. So let's just... future me is already upset about this. Okay. I made this in multiply. Okay. That's too far. This is a pressure sensitive brush that I have here. So it's depending on how aggressive I am with my pressure on the iPad here. Let's see. Again, this is kind of a big section for this style of brush application, etc. It's just a little different from what I've done for the other cards, so I'm just trying to like let my brain just let the process happen here. I don't want to start over because I don't think that this section, like this hand, would look really good as a stained glass. Like I think putting stained glass on the hands would confuse what's happening. So it needs to work this way. So I'm going to try and work with this design. So I usually put this kind of paintbrush on a smaller section. Sections that aren't big enough to hold the stained glass effect without it making a mess. So this is a lot of coverage. But I'm sure it's going to look awesome. We'll just have to put this kind of effect in some other cards, which I'm sure will happen kind of naturally, so it doesn't stand out too much. Oops. So I do know that a few of our regulars are in LA right now at Max. I know Dan's there. Alessandra will be there. So keep an eye out on their Instagrams and things like that if they're going to be posting anything magical. I know Dan's been posting quite a bit on his arrival, etc. I haven't seen anything from Alessandra yet, specifically Max related, but she'll probably get there soon. Like, I think the event started today officially, like the in-person stuff, because there's a bunch of labs and stuff you can go to in person that aren't available virtually. So I know that kind of stuff is going on. Fancy pants. So that may be where lots of the people are, which is totally fine. Oh dear, that's so aggressive. Okay, I think we need a different color for this because the paper pattern is so much lighter. Can't really handle that. We're going to throw some shadows in here too, as well, like we normally would do, so that will help as well. I just want to get some of that texture in here on top of the paper pattern, because that's where that kind of... The idea here is that it's like a bit more of that swirly glass instead of like the sections piecing it together. Some of that more textured glass that you see sometimes in stained glass. Get a bit of a variety happening here. Ugh, let's try that again. That's too much of a gap, I think. Mm-hmm. Anybody have any like holiday or vacation coming up? Any nice breaks, adventures, etc. to share? Oops, no. Boop, 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 boop. Hard to see. We're gonna get those out of there. They'll show up when we do the stained glass effect for sure. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Now we will make another multiply layer. Excuse me. Recent. I'm gonna bring it down to about 60. just want to make sure it's the right kind of. That's not working for me. Some multiply, eh? Is there? No, it's also multiply, so that's not going to work. It's a little too light. Officially now a tarot expert. Yes! I'm going to put that on under my video now too. Adobe community expert and tarot expert. All the experts. I just want to see if this will build up the way I want it to. Not really. Okay. Just trying to get the shadows on these kinds of sections. I find are a little bit more challenging because I don't want it to be too gray or neutral. I also don't want it to be too orange. I want the multiply to build up really nicely. That'd be a good start. I can play around with the hue and saturation layer, I guess, later. I've had a few people at markets and things ask me if I do my own tarot readings and such as well. So I may have to become more of an expert soon. Okay, I'm going to need this to go underneath the... There we go. Is that white from the whole way? We're getting messy with this. Okay, erase that. Okay, and then some of this is still here. Yikes. Where'd that other? There we go. So showing some of the imperfections of what has been done so far, but that's okay. Keeping me on my toes. It's the one thing about working over top of these lighter paper patterns. You're not going to see everything all the time until we start throwing some of these shadows in. Totally fine. A little bit of depth into these hands and see how they come through. There we go. So I think I've mentioned this before. So I have my brushes set. This is a multiply layer to begin with, but I also have my brushes set to multiply so that it will keep going darker and darker and darker like this. So I can keep building up my shadows as I want instead of having to change the color each time. I'm throwing in darker ones, and I have a little bit more control over certain areas of how dark they can go. Not always... Like, it's the best approach for me, but depends on what kind of art you're doing and everything else. Like maybe just throwing down different values is more helpful there. For this case, when I'm not always certain, it's harder for me to come up with like a value for how dark the shadows can go. So I just kind of play around with how many times I overlay the paint, and it helps me too because then it guarantees that the colors all work together rather than accidentally having one of the values be a little bluer or a little grayer. It's just how I work. It's just a way to do it, not the way to do it. I like to do it because I can build it up and just see how dark it can go. So on the iPad, it's just a matter of, it'll keep layering down until I lift up my pen and put my pen back down. That's when it will start getting darker and darker and darker. Again, doesn't always work for everything, because sometimes you want a flat value. You want things to be like coming out the way you want them to and not overlapping. But for this deck and this style that I'm building, it's definitely the way I want to go with it. Because some shadows are going to be darker than others. And then it also kind of, because it multiplies, and I put this down again, it maintains that dark value underneath. So when I'm throwing down all these different little shadows, rather than having to think like, okay, right here in between the fingers has to be a lot darker, as I'm throwing in shadows, it's just going to get darker and darker naturally, giving it a little bit more of a realistic effect without me having to really think it through each time. That's absolutely not what I wanted. Alessandra, we were just talking about you. We were just saying that you were probably in LA doing all the magic. That's exciting. Woohoo! LA. A fabulous place. Welcome to the stream. Oops. Ah, nice. RB saw an image of Alessandra, Dan, and Jimmy in LA. Perfect. I saw that Jimmy was going to be in LA today. I think I saw some chats about it. And I know Dan's been posting. You'll have to post lots, Alessandra, so we can see your journey. Let's try again. Our lasso wasn't quite to the edge, so it gave us some weird pixels there. Straight to the west side. Go as far as you can on the map. Okay, where's this? Always trying to keep my air quotes light source in mind. There isn't really an official one, because there's sometimes I've been using my artistic license to put some shadows in where they wouldn't normally be, but I need a bit of a, come on you, differentiation. Sometimes I break my own rule, and that's okay. I'm going to be watching the keynote tomorrow, Alessandra, so you have to make like a crazy noise or something in the crowd so I can hear you. Like a caca, caca. I'll listen. I'll wait. Oh no. There we go. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. 10 to 8 already. He's sleeping. It's like, why is he yelling? Oh, he's not. He's sleeping. Oh no. This might be a little weird. Made some odd choices here. So I opted to have the lines do what they do here because the gray and the white and everything. Oops. Because to end here like in the thumb, because I needed it to overlap over top of the circus, but didn't want to fully outline the thumb and disjoin it from the rest of the hands. So I did what I did there. I don't know. It might make more sense to pull it back a little bit. Okay, let me put in this one more shadow, excuse me, while I'm thinking about it, because I'm going to forget. Now, because now that we have the shadows in here, it looks a little, I think it flattens it out a little bit in a way I don't love. So let's go back in here and go to this layer first, and then we're going to go back to our, I kind of wish, okay, so looking at the little icons on the brushes, like the round circle, that's still your vector, so it looks like they haven't changed the graphics, but you have to keep in mind, like this one's a hard round, but you can see in the top there's that little pixel underneath the brush. That means that's a pixel brush. Whereas this one, because it has the little circle under it, it's a vector brush. So I think it's just going to take a little getting used to. Like I always knew based off of which one was blue, which brush I had on hand. Instead of, oops. Need to pay attention, like because there's a little circle there, I'm drawing with a vector brush. It's all okay. It's just I wanted to have to look a little closer. Okay, so let's see how. Come on. Why are we not draw? There we go. And we have quite a bit of brush debris, let's say, hanging around here. And then this one we want to go to a soft round, bring it all the way down to our 10, and make it a black brush. Sorry for the sniffles, guys. It's really dry around here right now. My face isn't really sure what to do with it. Okay. So let's see if that's better. I'm just going to clear out some of this color debris that you might not be able to see, and then go back actually into the hands and clear out this line. No, bro, that's not going to work for me, man. See, that's frustrating. So when you're in the vector brushes, it'll trim, but it won't trim if it's on a pixel brush. And it didn't register that it was on a pixel, like a vector layer. Some definite adjustments to make here. Just noticing, if you're just in on the stream, first of all, we're just noticing a few different changes that Adobe has made to Fresco since the last stream. Oh, come on now. There we go. Sorry, it undid my thing and I didn't want it to do that. Just a few UI changes, which are always cause for an uproar. Okay, guys. Little glitchy. UI changes always irritate people because they're used to, humans don't generally like change. I experience this when I'm at work, when I've introduced new UIs, user interfaces at work. I understand the lack of interest in change, especially when you have something like this where it's so, you have a rhythm and you have a groove. But more often than not, you adjust and you learn what's going on, you figure it out, and it's all okay. Just those bit of growing pains when you just what I do with my brushes. Okay. Okay, we'll see. And then, just take the thing, please. Okay. Yeah, so because when I have a vector brush selected, I can do that trimming tool, but because it didn't register that it was on a vector layer, I still have my pixel brush selected. It didn't trim it the way I wanted to, so I had to go in and select a vector brush. That's a little clunky for me, but again, maybe I will get used to it. There'll be shortcuts and nuances that I can learn, or people will provide feedback on these changes and adjustments can be made. Because very rarely does a UI go out glitch-free. User interface, sorry. You're not going to make everybody happy, but you also don't want to hinder the experience. So we'll see what happens in the coming days. I may provide that brush feedback. But we'll see how it goes. Like I said, this has come out in the last week or so. I haven't been in Fresco much this week since our last stream, just because of other projects needing attention. Oh, that's a lie. I was in Fresco just on Friday, Thursday or Friday, and there wasn't any differences as far as I could tell. So just in the past few days, which makes sense because it's max preparation. Okay. So what have you seen in LA so far, Alessandra? What are you gonna see other than Max things? I've taken a couple sites, I suspect. Gone all that way. Only be on for a couple more minutes because yet again we have us Canadians have important baseball business tonight. They keep putting the late games, man. I need a nap. Don't want to rush a series because I want us to win. But oh my goodness gracious, it is late games, man. Okay, and we will put, we might as well do the whole thing. I was just going to put a shadow over the hand, but I think that's going to set me up for frustration later. Let's just do the whole shadow. Actually, we need to be a little bigger because it's bigger space. If we don't, it'll be harder to line up later. We can always erase out like this section if I want it. If I don't want that shadow later, I don't really see why I wouldn't want that shadow. So it's a lot easier to take it out than it is to put it back in on the other sides to match things up. Oops. Oops. Come on, you. Play that game. Oh my goodness, I've forgotten how to do all of this. Must know it's the end of the stream. Okay, so let's just do. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I remember how. Okay, so there'll be more shadows that go in there to help that out. We've got stained glass to apply, all that other kind of stuff. But we're making some progress. So, yeah, I'm going to leave it there for now. I'm right after we're done this stream, I'm going to post the Ace of Hearts coloring page. That's the card that's going to be available this week for download for the super collaboration. The link is below in the chat, wherever you're watching the stream. So you can download that coloring page for free and have some fun and color it. You can print it or you can download it and put it into your favorite software and use it to color that way if you'd like. So I'm going to post that, so definitely go check that out right away. I'm also going to be updating my website and everything else, and I'm going to have all that information up this weekend, so make sure you're following me on Instagram and Facebook to make sure that you get the right links for that. RB says, got to make that Dan Buddha for Ace of Spades and Vector. Yes, you do. That'll be magic. It'd be so good, and we'll just sneak it into the collection there. It'll be perfect. So definitely keep an eye out for those kinds of things that are going up. Like I said, shop updates and downloading of the Vector, the super collaboration art. If you are an Adobe fan, definitely check out Max this week. If you just Google Adobe Max, it'll take you to the registrations part of the site, and you can register and sign in and just watch whatever's virtual online. There's quite a few sessions that are available this year, so definitely go check that out if it's interesting to you. And because I know that's definitely what I'm going to be doing all week. I'm going to be definitely checking out Max wherever I can and probably catching up on whatever I miss over the weekend because it's a busy week. And we can chat more about it next week. See what we found. Find out the best fact that we learned when we were at Max. But for now, I'll leave you to it. I hope you have an excellent week. Thank you, Antoine, RB, and Alessandra for joining, and anybody else who might be lurking in the background. Alessandra, have the most fun at Max. Say hi to Dan for us and anybody else who might be there that you meet in person. I hope you have a lot of fun. Definitely post your progress because we'd love to hear about it for sure. And I hope everybody has a great Max week and a great Halloween week, whichever one works for you. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. It is a highlight and amazing way to start the week. And I will see you all same time and channels next week. Bye, guys. Thanks so much. Talk to you soon.